Hello guys, thank you for tuning in for another chapter of our VR tutorial series. In today's chapter, I will teach you on how to spawn objects in game. Now, in today's scenario, we're going to let our user shoot something whenever he or she taps the cardboard or use the tap function of the cardboard. So, without further ado, let's start. Just need to delete this first. So first things first, let's check our camera. By the way, this is our previous project. So what it does is basically, if you look into an object, it will turn. Why is not turning blue? Let's make it bigger. If the user focus in the middle of an object, it will turn its color to red. So that's what we have done in the previous chapter. First thing we need to do is to create our bullet. So first, let's go to our assets, create a folder, and let's name this prefabs. There you go. And next thing we need to do is to create a object for our bullet. So I usually start on a sphere. Make sure to reset all of its transform. There we have it. The sphere is too big, so let's scale it down by halfway down. There you go, 0.5. Now, next thing we need to do is to add a few components. First is we need to add a rigid body. And the next thing we need to add is a trail renderer. Okay, so now we have a trail renderer. Let's adjust the width by 0.5 and width to 0. So what happens is that as long as the sphere is moving, it will render a trail behind it, as you can see. So if this sphere shoots away from the user, so it will create a trail behind it. Okay, let's adjust the time to 1. Here you go. So once it's done, next thing we need to do is to create a material. So I have my material here, but if you want to create your own, just simply open the window by right clicking in the inspector the asset project tab, and create a new material. So what I have here is a new material, and make sure that you have emission of the same color. So click this sphere, go to its trail renderer, and drag the material to here, and there you go. It will change its properties accordingly. So now we have this prefab. We have this object. We need to create it as a prefab. So click the object here, drag it down to your prefabs folder. If you don't have a prefab folder, just simply create a folder by right clicking on your project tab and create a folder. So in our prefabs, we have a sphere here. So we don't need this anymore. Now the next thing we need to do is to update our code. So let's open Raycaster right here. Okay, so just follow what I do. First is we need to create a public variable named bullet. So this will be You'll know why I did this later on. And we need to create another um, um, variable of game object type as a private one. So by default, and let's name this spawnable. Sorry, spawnable. There you go. Now, what we need to do is to create another condition here. We just need to delete some spaces here. So previously we've done this implementation, basically just cast array, and what we're going to do now is we're going to make a condition that if the user taps the screen, the bullet will spawn. So for the editor purposes, let's try to use mouse input that get mouse button down. Make sure that it's button down, and left click is 0. Okay. Now we have a if condition here. So if the user press the mouse, we are going to instantiate spawnable bullet that follows the transform of this parent position as well as its rotation. Sorry, not the position. Oh yeah, exactly right. Sorry. Rotation. There we go. Now we need to contain this to a variable so that we can modify the spawned object. All we need to do is to cast this expression here as a game object. So we have a variable named spawnable, so let's use that. So spawnable is equal to game object. There you go. So what it does is the spawn object will be stored on a variable. So on this variable, we can get some components. We need to get some components. The rigid body. Sorry. And we need to add force. Okay, so it says vector 3. Now we need to add a forward force only so that the bullet will go forward. So vector 3 that forward, and we need to multiply this. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's create another variable here, power, so this so that we will have control on how strong the bullet will move. So vector 3 dot forward times power. Let's close that. Okay, save it, control S. Now I believe we're done. Yes, I think. Let's test it out. So go to your raycaster. As you notice, you have two variables here, bullet and the power. So for the bullet, we just need to go to our prefabs and drag our bullet prefab to our script here. And let's try to add a power of 1000. No. Let's just try a bit slower. 500. Yeah, let's play. Sorry. So press the mouse 1. There you go. But the problem is that the object being instantiated is not following the user's point of view. Now, the problem is that we're basing on these spheres forward direction. Now, vector 3 that forward right here. So we need to change this to this transform it forward, I believe. Let's try this out. There you go, as you can see. So basically that's most of it for now. So, but wait, this only works on the desktop because we are using our mouse. Now, in order for it to work on mobile, let's stop this first. In order for it to work in mobile, let's just simply add another condition here, an OR condition. So if input that get touch input that touch count is greater than 0, so the user touches the screen, and input. I believe this will work. Let's try it out. Yep. Let's build this app. Chapter 1. The name is still the same, so let's name this chapter 4. Okay. Save. So we need to copy this to our device. So just wait. Sorry about that. There you go. So just need to open it on my phone. Almost forgot. Sorry guys, sorry. We need to create this input that get touch. So first touch, and all we need to do is to get the face of this touch. So dot face is equal to touch face that begun. So we're only going to trigger the spawning on when the finger touches the screen. The first touches the screen. So let's try to build this. Let's make it bigger so that you can see. Sorry about that. Here. So if this part here is for the development purposes only, and this is the script that will work on mobile, so we need to get the touch input. So if the input is if the user touches the screen, so touch count will be greater than 0, so that would be true, and input that get touch, so the first finger to touch and its face is equal to touch face that began. touch phase, that began is when the finger first touches the screen. It will not read. This is not the same as the long press or the swipe. As long as it, the first action the user did was touch. So when the finger came in contact with the screen. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's build it again. There you go. The errors are gone. Let's build it again. Sorry about that, guys. Now we have here. Let's restore our phone. Let's depraise it. I'm going to install the phone to check this out. So for those people who didn't build their app to their phone yet, this is what it will suppose to happen. So every time the user taps, a ball or a sphere will spawn. Just a simple spawning feature. So yep. So as long as you followed my code and you follow how I implemented it, everything should work flawlessly. So on the next chapter is we're going to get rid of the spawn objects because this will make the game or the app heavy. So those spheres here are this. Oh, they fell. Sorry about that. Or this sphere. Okay. So that's very inefficient. So in the next chapter, let's try to fix that it will not populate our list here. Okay. So I guess that's all for today, guys. Apologies for this late update. Been really busy with my work, and hopefully you could learn something from it. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask on our comment down below, or you could ask us on our group at Facebook. Okay, thank you so much once again, and goodbye.